Hi, everyone. I hope you're well. Today, we're going to be continuing talking about the Congo and basically doing a mini project based on what you've already learned. At this point, you've taken a look at King Leopold II's reign when Belgium had the Congo as a colony. And then you've seen after independence, and we know that this story doesn't end well. Today, the Congo is in sad shape. It's not really a democracy, only a name, and the people are really in terrible conditions. Many of the same things that we've seen in the colonial times are still occurring. You might not have people's hands being chopped off for rubber, but certainly all the wealth is being drained, and the people of the Congo are not seeing any of it. Um, who's in charge now? It is Kabila's son, who at the very end of the story you saw had obtained power. He has made a big show about becoming a democracy and he has held elections. The one thing he doesn't mention is that he makes certain that he wins them. He basically makes it so people can't vote if they oppose him. So it's really not a democracy, even though it has the name of one, because any place that has voting but restricts people who actually vote for only one person isn't really a democracy. So what we're going to be doing today with this project, it's going to start today and it'll continue. Monday's activity will also be part of it. And we are going to be putting King Leopold II and Mobutu on trial. Now, normally we do this in a mock trial, and that's just not going to work in distance learning. So we're going to be creating more of a script, and then Monday I'm going to ask you to actually film yourselves doing your script. I'll give you more details on Monday about that because you should not be doing any filming over the weekend. But you'll have some options because you'll have to either be a lawyer and a witness or you're going to have a minimum of two people, although I'll tell you in a second how you get around that. So some of the options that you'll have, and again, I'll explain this on Monday's lesson, but some of the options you'll have you can do it alone. And I don't know, wear a scarf as a lawyer and a hat as your witness, or, make it obvious that you are two different people. You can work with another person, and Zoom actually has the ability to record something, in which case you can kind of record your lawyer and witness testimony, or you can grab a family member and maybe have them be the lawyer and you be the witness. So you'll have options, and again, I will give you very detailed descriptions of how you're going to go about doing that and how you're going to get it to me. So for today, what you're going to be doing is writing that script. Let me give you the instructions here. All right, so here's the thing. We're going to be bringing to trial King Leopold II or Mobutu, okay? This is what they're being charged with. Irrefutable harm not only to the people of the Congo, but are responsible for the sad shape that the country is in today. That last part is really important because it's not really questionable whether or not they've harmed people in the Congo. They have. Uh, what's questionable is, do we see those problems that we have today as a direct result of these two people's actions? You are going to choose one. You are not doing both. You have options. There are actually a lot of options with this activity. So your job will either be to defend or prosecute King Leopold II or Mobutu. Again, you're not going to do both. You're either going to prosecute or accuse them that they are guilty, or you're going to defend them and say they're not guilty. Okay, that's your first choice. Your second choice would be, who are you doing this for, King Leopold II or Mobutu? All of these crimes you'll be going through will be questioning a witness who has some knowledge of the events. Okay, so you're creating this dialogue. It needs to be a back and forth between a lawyer and a witness, and you need 8 to 10 questions and answers. So it's not 4 questions and 4 answers, and that counts. You need 8 questions. You may call more than one witness, but there's a minimum of 1. You may want more than one if you find that you're having a really difficult time hitting that minimum of 8 questions. If you need to do 2 witnesses, that's fine. I would probably split it up a minimum of 4 questions and 4 questions then. Okay. Witnesses must make sense for your side. This activity, yes, it's all fictitious, but I still expect you to have things make sense. right? So your witness must make sense for your side. If say that your witness is a Congolese person who lost a hand because they didn't meet their rubber quotas, you don't want to call that witness if you are defending King Leopold. Because if you're defending King Leopold, that person isn't going to support the idea that King Leopold was a great guy if they lost their hand because of King Leopold's policies. Um, Likewise, you can't say something that would be untrue for your witness. A Congolese person isn't going to talk about how wonderful King Leopold II is. That wouldn't make sense for his character. Likewise, if you're talking to King Leopold himself, right? King Leopold isn't going to admit to all of these things. And if you put that he is, well, the history doesn't support that. So you're going to get points off for that. What would his response be? His response would be, it was a humanitarian cause. I was taking care of the Congolese. I was giving them education and medicine and all of these wonderful European things. It's not my fault the Belgian officers did things I didn't know about, right? That would be a logical response of King Leopold II. If you're going to have him admit to all of these things, that doesn't make any sense because he didn't do that while he was alive. Okay. So 8 to 10 questions, and that will be your back and forth with answers. Okay. So your witnesses, you have a very large list, and all of your notes up until this point will very much help you. So possible witnesses include Leopold II himself, right? You can call him to the stand. David Livingstone, Henry Morton Stanley, Joseph Conrad, Ed Morale, Roger Casement. There's also people who weren't on that list, but you could probably answer what their lives were like. You could have someone living in the Congo, a Belgian citizen. Like by that I mean somebody living in Belgium. They're going to support King Leopold, right? Because all they see is the wealth coming in, and they're not actually physically seeing the Congolese on a day-to-day basis. All right, so now we're kind of switching over more into the Mobutu section. So you can bring forward Mobutu. Patrice Lumumba. And yes, he can speak posthumously. And yes, he can speak about his own death. I guess he's a zombie Lumumba. But I'm okay with that. Because of the role that Mobutu played in his death, I'm okay if you ask questions about the guy's death. Okay, President Eisenhower, Kabila, and anyone else, so long as it makes sense. That goes for whether it's King Leopold II or Mobutu. If you have a good rationale or reasoning for bringing forward that witness, I'm okay with it. You may certainly email me if you have questions, if you're unsure and you're like, I really don't know if I can do this, but I kind of want to. Email me, reach out to me, and I can answer it for you. Your notes are going to be super helpful. You certainly can do outside research as well. I just ask that you cite those if you do. Your notes don't need to be cited. I also have a couple helpful hints. These are things that I've learned from doing the actual mock trial. Yes, it's a good idea to ask questions establishing who your person is before you ask questions that prove the guilt or innocence of your client, right? So one of the things that people have complained about as far as asking questions, at least when I've done a script version of this, is that they get this idea that like, oh, I can only ask questions and how am I going to come up with 8? You can ask a person, did you live in the Congo, right? For a Congolese person, right? They would, of course, answer yes, although it shouldn't be all yes or no questions. What was their job? And have the person describe the rubber scenario, right? You want to set up why this person is important to your case. I mean, you guys have seen, I'm sure at some point, a video, whether it's Law and Order or some court crime case. Lawyers set up arguments. You want to make sure that your back and forth comes to a point that would make either King Leopold II or Mobutu guilty, right? Or defend them conclusively, okay? That it wasn't their fault. So you want to be careful with that, and certainly use set up questions so that the person reading it or watching it knows what point you are in, what point you're trying to make, I should say. Second, if you choose defense, okay, so you're saying King Leopold II or Mobutu are not guilty. You can do this. That's absolutely fine, but then you're going to need to place blame elsewhere. That's kind of the only way, because if you're going to try and make an argument that they didn't do these awful things, that's near impossible. We have too much evidence that shows that they have. So again, you want to blame other people. Maybe King Leopold is claiming that he didn't know what the Belgian officers did, although that is kind of weak. Maybe you are pointing to the United States if you're Mobutu and saying, nope, nope, this is the United States' fault. But placing blame is going to be key if you choose defense. So continuing on to the second page, this is what you're filling out for me. This is what's due on Monday. It must be done by yourself. It is going through turnitin.com, so be aware of that. This is not a section of the project that can be done with a partner. I'll give you instructions on Monday for that if you want to work with a partner for that section, but I'll repeat it again. All of this is individual for today, okay? So you're going to tell me who you're choosing, King Leopold II or Mobutu. Second, you're going to tell me if you're defending them or prosecuting them. This is super important because I can't assess anything else unless I know those two things. Third thing, okay, and this is the heart of your assignment, you have to pick a witness. If you have more than one, make sure that you list who they are, all of them that you are doing. Also, when you get to this section here, make sure that it's clear which witness is which, okay? I put this just so that there's no confusion here. Like, this would be where you put your lawyer's question. This would be the witness's answer, okay? And again, you have to have a minimum of 8. 9 and 10 are optional if you need them. And you can go further than that too if you want. As far as switching witnesses, again, just put the witness name next to it so that I know clearly when the switch off is, and I'm not confused if you are doing more than one witness, okay? And that is what is due. If you have any citations, again, if you're using anything outside of Forever in Chains, the videos I've shown you, that you need to cite, otherwise you don't have to worry about citing. I know this was a long video, but I'm hoping to try to make it as clear as possible. Certainly, if you have questions, ask me, and I will be happy to answer them. So again, today is just the script. That's due Monday, and on Monday, I will give you instructions for your videos so that you can perform your little bit of a mock trial. Okay? I hope you guys are all well, and I will hopefully see you soon with this week's optional Zoom meetings, or maybe next week as well. At the very least, I'll get to see your videos to see some of your faces. Reach out if you have questions. Good luck.